This is the vlog for August 12th, 2018, and it's half over. So, I don't know, for the three people who actually follow this, I've been getting ready for a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, not a campaign, a one off adventure for a group of friends from work. And this all comes out of me picking up the books back in, well, it would have been June at the start of my 2 month break, which was over 2 months ago. And sort of slowly putting together a campaign world. And a lot of that campaign world was sort of thrown out the window. It was sort of helpful to have like locations and stuff and cultures and personalities ironed out so I could just, instantly describe anything that I needed to describe. And if anybody had questions, I could, go into detail about that stuff. But a lot of DMing is still playing by the seat of your pants, and they kept me on the edge of my seat. One of my players is the kind of player who will just say and do things, small things, just to be funny, and sometimes it has sometimes it affects things and sometimes it doesn't. I made the mistake of describing the wagon the PCs were riding in as originally having only one thing in it, which was a brown paper wrapped parcel. But then I forgot to make mention that there was also one of the player characters in it, our elven bard, played by Philip. And so for the first half hour, basically everybody, one player and then eventually everybody sort of just decided that the elf was wrapped in brown paper, brown packing paper, and was in fact being delivered to the town that they were all traveling to. There was some carrying of PCs, grabbing and carrying of PCs and NPCs. Overall, though, things went remarkably smoothly. Everybody seemed to have a good time. The one bit of feedback, and it was definitely feedback that I'm going to take into consideration, and that's that it felt disjointed, and that's because quietly the source material I'm taking this from is itself disjointed, and so that's being reflected a little bit. But I could have also done a better job of tying everything together and doing a better job of sort of laying out what the goals would be, sort of getting the players to ask the right questions, and not be so railroady. Okay, you have to do this to do this to do this, and again, that's sort of the problem with doing a one-off and keeping the pace going, is giving everybody the opportunity to make choices and feel like those choices have an impact. But everybody seems to be having fun. There was a lull in the middle, I think, when I told them that it was 1/4 of the way over. And it was. I divided the whole story into 4 parts. And yeah, the first part started at 11, 3.5 hours, but we finished about 2 hours after that. So a lot of the early stuff was just making sure everybody's character was up to snuff, and I did that. A lot of that was on me. I did not provide everybody all the information that they needed to flesh out their character. So yeah, I've got a lot to think about. If we do decide to start a full campaign, I'm not sure I want to. Not necessarily because I don't like these guys, but with a lot of games coming out this fall that I'm very interested in playing. I don't know how much time I'm going to have because I put a lot of effort into this. And a lot of stuff just sort of got bypassed because that's how PCs are. Sometimes they figure stuff out a lot faster than you intend them to. Um, there were a couple moments where they were, doing a thing where it was like, okay, time to go south, but instead, here I'm going to put the plot in your path. Um, but that worked well. So for example, the NPCs end up sort of teleporting into, or the PCs, I should say, end up teleporting into a. I'm going to draw this and see if that keeps the light from trying to balance over and over again. Well, now I'm not visible at all. Great. That may be darker somehow. Okay. There we go. All right. That's what I needed to do, apparently. Wearing a white shirt is probably not working. I should have just turned the light on. So the characters teleport into a city that's basically on the other side of the world. And they're trying to get their bearings. They're trying to figure out where they are. And they're trying to find the guy that they've sort of been roped into looking for by the NPC that has been moving the adventure forward. But as soon as they arrive, two of the characters are like, we want drinks. Because when they first arrived in the starting town, there was no pub or tavern or bar of any sort. So their like major thing was, let's go get drunk. And I had made mention that there was a pub, but it was supposed to be sort of a place that one character was trying to go and the other characters were trying to keep him from. And yeah, instead I just sort of went with it, and instead of having the character show up where he was originally supposed to show up, I just had him show up at the door of the bar, which worked out really well. The characters eventually got the alcohol they were looking for, but yeah, I've just got a lot to think about. I don't want to talk too much about like the source material, the inspiration for the adventure yet, because I asked and everybody does want to finish. We got halfway through. We got through 2 of the 4 parts, and the next 2 parts should actually go pretty quick in comparison to the first 2, where I think the bulk of the action was. So yeah, that's where I am. And now I am just going to be getting ready for the wedding, for flying out on Thursday, and oh, there's going to be a time difference. I need to make sure that if I want to do my whole 1 per day thing, I want to make sure. Well, I'm just going to say, as long as I upload the video before midnight in the time zone I'm in, I'm going to call that, since I'm the only one that's actually like trying to keep track of doing this every day, I'm the only one that it really matters to. So, because I'm going to be staying up late and trying to find time to do this anyway, so I'm just going to, midnight of the time zone I'm in, which will be the central time zone, starting on Thursday. But tomorrow's another day. I've got 3 days of work this week, and then I'm flying out, and then possibly taking Monday off to recuperate, depending on how I feel. So I'll be here tomorrow, though. So until then, I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.